ever feel like you're just running on a hamster wheel? You're always busy, but you're not actually moving forward. Well, today we're going to break down a really powerful three-step framework from the business legend Brian Tracy. Think of it as a strategic sprint. It's designed to give you total clarity and a real path to action. So let's just dive right in. Okay, let's start with a number that should really stop you in your tracks. According to the experts Brian Tracy often cites, a staggering 80% of companies today are trying to get by with obsolete business models. I mean, think about that for a second. That's 4 out of every 5 businesses running on an old, outdated operating system in a world that is changing faster than ever. It's a huge problem. And this quote from Brian Tracy just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the issue. See, it's so easy to get lost in the weeds of sales projections and budgets, and we start to mistake all that financial planning for an actual strategy. But here's the thing. A budget, it just tells you where your money is going. A strategy, a real strategy, tells you where your entire business is going. Big difference. And that brings us to what we're calling the strategy gap. This is that really dangerous space between just being busy and actually being effective. And today, we are going to build a bridge right across that gap. So this right here is the central idea for this whole explainer. Your strategy is your business's GPS. It's that simple. I mean, you can have the fastest car in the world, a full tank of gas, but if you don't have a destination plugged in, you're just going to be driving in circles, right? You absolutely cannot figure out how to get there until you know where there even is. So let's get into it. Step 1 is all about defining your starting point. This is where we find your exact coordinates for that strategic GPS we were just talking about. Okay, the first coordinate requires some brutal honesty. You have to ask, where are we really right now? Not where you hope you are or where you think you should be. What are your actual sales figures? What are your real profit margins? How satisfied are your customers truly? You've got to get honest about your current position, warts and all. Now for the fun part. Next, you set the destination. Brian Tracy calls this your 5-year fantasy. So if your business was absolutely perfect in 5 years, what would that actually look like? What would your reputation be? Your profitability? Don't hold back here. This is all about defining that ideal future you're aiming for. And finally, you build the bridge. How are you going to get from where you are now to that incredible future you just imagined? This is where you brainstorm the actual steps, the resources you'll need, the people you'll need to cross that gap. These 3 questions, this is the foundation for everything that comes next. All right, on to step 2, building your 4 pillars. So we've just looked inward to set our destination. Now it's time to look outward and define your specific place in the market. Brian Tracy identifies 4 timeless pillars, and you can think of them as 4 key questions. So specialization asks, what are the few things we're going to be known for doing exceptionally well? Segmentation asks, who exactly is our ideal customer? And just as important, who isn't? Concentration asks, where are we going to focus all of our energy and our resources to win? And finally, the most critical pillar of them all, differentiation. Differentiation answers the most important question of all. Why should a customer choose us over everyone else? Now, what's really interesting here is that differentiation isn't about being, slightly better. It's about being uniquely different. What is the one thing your customers get from you that they literally cannot get anywhere else? That is your competitive advantage. This quote from Peter Drucker just perfectly illustrates the power of real differentiation. When your unique value is this clear, customers are already pre-sold. I mean, think about Apple. They announce a new product and people are lining up before they've even talked to a salesperson. Why? Because that differentiation is already completely locked in their minds. And now for step 3. And honestly, this is often the hardest part. You have to clear the path, because you simply can't build something new on top of an old, crumbling foundation. A lot of times, the biggest obstacle to your future is actually your past success. To really move forward, you have to stop doing the old things to free up time, money, and energy. And the tool for this demolition job? It's a powerful concept called zero-based thinking. This is it. This is the one question you have to ask about everything in your business, your products, your processes, your investments, even your team members. Knowing what I know now, would I get into this today? Would you launch that same product line again? Would you make that same hire? You have to be honest. This question is so powerful because it helps you escape what's called the sunk cost fallacy. That's the trap of pouring good money after bad just to justify a past decision. Zero-based thinking forces a total shift. It says, look, the past is gone. That time, that money, those are sunk costs. The only thing that matters is what is the absolute best use of my resources from this moment forward. So let's wrap this up by talking about your next move. Because strategy isn't some 100-page document that sits on a shelf. It's really just a series of clear, courageous decisions. So here it is, the entire strategic sprint in a nutshell. First, you look inward to set your destination. Second, you look outward to define your 4 pillars in the market. And third, you use that powerful tool of zero-based thinking to eliminate the past and clear the path forward. Now, if you only take one single thing away from all this today, please let it be this. True strategy is not about adding another item to your already packed to-do list. It is about having the courage to stop doing the things that no longer serve that ideal future you're trying to build. So, I'll leave you with this final thought, this final question. Based on everything we've just covered, what is the one thing, maybe it's a product, a process, a recurring meeting, what is the one thing you will have the courage to stop doing tomorrow? Because right there, that's where your new strategy truly begins.